Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome to my channel Gobble Gobble. As you can see, our grass head grew a lot. That means we had a huge progress by just learning the alphabet. Well, at least there's something good about plants, that they never stop growing. That's something we should learn from them. In our previous lesson, we learned the vowels. Today, we're going to learn how to categorize them. It's going to be some sort of a kindergarten activity in which we're going to observe the position of our tongue, mouth, and lips while creating sounds. After that, we're going to learn how to use this categorization to guide us while adding suffixes. In other words, we're going to learn something called the vowel harmony. So let's start. There are 8 vowels in Turkish. They are A, E, I, I, O, Ö, U, U in their alphabetical order. Now let's say them once again and observe our mouth movement at the same time. A, E, I, I, O, Ö, U, U. First, our mouth got narrowed, and then our lips had a rounder shape. Now let's see how we categorize our letters. We picked the right group according to 3 things: the placement of your tongue, back or front, the position of your lips, rounded or unrounded, the gap between your tongue and the roof of your mouth, open or closed. Let's take a look at our table. Let's start with A and E. Open your mouth as wide as you can and say ah. Now try to make the E sound while your mouth is still wide open and keep saying ah, E, ah, E. What happened is you moved your tongue front and back to make different sounds. You made the A sound when you had your tongue in the back and E sound when it was on front. And you kept your lips in their natural shape, unrounded, and your mouth wide open while making the both sounds. Now, let's take a look at U and I. Let's start by opening our mouth wide open again. If you're ready, try to make the U and I sound while your mouth is still remained open. It's impossible to do that, right? We have to close our mouth a little bit to make the U and I sounds. That's why we put them into the closed category. Now, let's take a look at the rounded ones. Let's start by making the kissing sound. Stay like that, keep your lips rounded and open your mouth a bit, maintaining this shape, and say O and Ö. Now keep saying O, Ö, O, Ö. Notice your tongue movement and where the sound comes from. O sound comes from the back and Ö comes from the front. Now open your mouth wide and narrow your lips and try to say U and U. It's impossible to do that without closing our mouths a bit, just like U and I. That's why we put them in the closed section, in front and back, because of the same reason. We made the table, we talked about it. Now let's learn what a vowel harmony is and how this table is going to help us. Whenever we do something, our body wants to do it spending less effort. That's why we use the vowel harmony. How? While adding suffixes, we care about the vowels because it's easier to switch to a new letter which is in the same class or in the same subclass with the letter we previously said. For example, it's not really a good idea to follow A with U because they're different in so many ways. A is open, U is closed. A is unrounded, U is rounded. U is front, A is back. However, following A with is way easier for your tongue. They both are back vowels and they're unrounded. There are two types of vowel harmony rules that we need to know to add suffixes and form new words and even sentences. First one is for the suffixes that only have a and e version, like lash and lash, the plural suffixes. Let's read the rule and then do an example. There is one thing we do before we add the suffix, and it is checking the last vowel. That's how we decide what suffix to add. So here are two example words: köpek, dog, and araba, car. Now let's read the rule and make these plural. Check the last vowel of the word. If it's one of a, u, o, u, the word gets the suffix that has a in it. In this case, it's lash. If it's one of e, I, ö, u, the word gets the suffix that has e in it. In this case, it's lash. So, köpek, the last vowel is e, and e gets the suffix that has e in it, and it is lash. So this means dogs. Köpek, dog, köpekler, dogs. Araba, car. The last vowel and the last letter is a, and a gets the suffix that has a in it. So it's lar. So I add lar here. Arabalar, cars, köpekler and arabalar. This vowel harmony is very easy to remember because one section has the dotted ones and one has the others. And you can think of a and e as the leaders of each group, because the suffixes that we use have a and e in them. Here's another tip. We pronounce e as I in English. E gets the dotted ones and a gets the others. So these are the back vowels and these are the front vowels. Let's take a look at the other vowel harmony rule. We again check the last vowel. If it's a or u, the suffix it gets has to have u in it. If the last vowel is e or I, it has to get the suffix that has I in it. If it's o or u, it has to get the one that has u in it. And same for ö and u, it gets the one that has u in it. Let's check them once again here. A, u gets u, e, I gets I, o, u gets u, ö, u gets u. They give you hints anyway. U, I, u, u, u. It's really not hard to remember. I'm going to once again revise all these in this table. Here are the cute colors. In our first rule, we learned that the suffix we add has a and e. We checked the last vowel of the word. If it was one of the back vowels, it got a. And if it was one of the front vowels, it got e. Lash and lash. And here we checked the last vowel, and if it was one of a or u, the suffix we chose had u in it. If it was e or I, the suffix we chose had I in it. If it was o or u, the suffix we chose had u in it. If it was ö or u, the suffix we chose had u in it. I'm going to show you some other suffixes too now. And then we're going to do real examples. We're going to create sentences and we're going to learn the real Turkish, not just the rules. Okay? Here are our letters. These are the back vowels and these are the front vowels. Lar and laj are the plural suffixes. Dan and dan are the suffixes that mean from. A and e are the suffixes that mean to. Think of these each word as the last letter of a word you saw. So you have to add one of those suffixes. Let's place them in the right category. So dan, e gives the hint, but even if the last letter of our word was u, we would still place it on this section. And same for this. E also goes to this. And same for lash. Large goes to back vowels, and same for dan and a. So let's give examples now. Okul, school, okullar, schools, okuldan, from school, okulla, to school, ev, house, evler, houses, evden, from home or house, ve, to home. This was an example about our first vowel harmony rule, because these suffixes had only 2 versions. Now let's take a look at the suffixes that have 4 versions. This is the other vowel harmony rule that we use. So let's remember. Let's start with explaining what these suffixes are. Iyor, uyor, uyor, uyor. These 4 are the suffixes of the present continuous tense. These are the personal suffixes that we add after we add the tense suffix. So let's place them to the right group. There are 4 groups. So iyor, we place it where the e is. I and e gets iyor. And also they get im, uyor. U and a gets uyor. And also u gets uyor and o gets uyor. U gets uyor and this also gets So let's do an example. This means to find. Let's say I'm finding. We add the tense suffix first and then add the personal suffix. So uyor, uyor, iyor and uyor are the tense suffixes of present continuous tense. Let's choose the correct one. We have u here, the last and the only vowel. So we use uyor. So it's buluyor. But who? That's why you use the personal suffix. So we check the final vowel. This time it's not u but o. But it doesn't matter. O and u gets uyor and So I add here. And this means I'm finding. It's as simple as that. Now let's check an example that's related to our day. Stay home. That's how it's translated into Turkish. We learned that home and house mean ev in Turkish. And here's a little help. So, to stay means kalmak. But mak is the infinite suffix. And to be able to form new words, to be able to attach new suffixes, we have to omit this infinite suffix. So we have to use kal. We don't need another tense suffix because we are giving orders. We directly say the verb. And house means ev. And to be able to say stay inside the house, we have to add the suffixes de or da. To decide which one to use, we check the final vowel, and the only vowel in this case, it's e. And e apparently gets the one that has e in it. So we say evde, stay home, evde kal, in the house, inside the house, stay home. Here's an example for you because you're learning. I am learning. So, I is ben, but I noted something here. It's not necessary to use the pronoun because we're going to add a personal suffix to the verb. This personal suffix is still going to tell us who is doing the action. You don't have to put ben before. But if you want to emphasize that you are the one that's doing the action, then feel free to use it. Or any other time. If you want to use it, but it's not necessary. Let's take a look at the personal suffix of ben, den. It's im, or Let's take a look at the tense suffix of present continuous. Therefore, uyor, iyor, uyor, and uyor. But we've learned that we add the tense suffix before the personal suffix, as I put the numbers here, as you can see. Let's see. To learn, öğrenmek. We have two infinite suffixes. They're either mak or mek. They are also added using the vowel harmony rule. We have e as the last vowel, so we use the infinite suffix mek. But to form other words or conjugate the verb, we have to omit the infinite suffix. Now is the time to add the tense suffix. It's either uyor, iyor, uyor, or uyor. Again, we check the final vowel, it's e. We learned that e either gets e or e, like in im, and this is like in lash. If you remember, we said köpekler, but here we don't have a suffix that is either a or e. We have the for. So the right suffix is the one that has e in it, and it's iyor. So we add iyor. Now, it's time to add the personal suffix. We check the last vowel of the tense suffix. The last vowel of our new word. It's o. And we learned that o either gets a or u. This is when our suffix either has a or e in it. But here we don't have an example like that, so don't use this one. We have to look for the suffix that has u in it, and here we have So we say öğreniyorum. This means I'm learning. Now we're going to do two more examples together. So get yourself a paper and a pen or a pencil. First try yourself using the help here and then look at my answers. So pause the video if you want. The keys are in the car. We have to learn the meaning of the key. It's anahtar. What is in the car? Anahtar. But it's plural. So we have to add lar or lash. So we check the final vowel. If it's a, it gets lar. I can say that easily. So it's anahtarlar. In the car. The car is araba. And in suffix is either da or de. We check the last vowel, it's a, so we use da because da also has a in it. So we say anahtarlar, araba, da. That's it. This means the keys are in the car. I hope you got it right. If you didn't, don't worry about it. Let's try the next one. You are taking. You is sen, but we don't have to use the pronoun. We talked about this before. So let's take a look at its personal suffix. It's sın, sin, sun, sun. Okay, there are 4 versions of it. Is to take, almak. Tense suffix of present continuous tense. I think we learned it. We're going to learn it again. I'm just giving examples. İyor, uyuyor, uyuyor, and uyuyor. Let's use sen this time. Sen, we omit the infinite suffix mak. So it's al. Sen al. This means you take, but we want to say you are taking. This is ing. This is present continuous form. So in Turkish, it is iyor, uyuyor, uyuyor, uyuyor. So how do we know which one to use? So we know that iyor is used by e and e. Uyuyor is used by a and u. Uyuyor is used by o and u. Uyuyor is used by ö and u. Here, a gets u. I know it now really well. So alıyor. This is not over. Even though we use the personal pronoun, we still have to use the personal suffix. So we check the final vowel, it's o and u gets sun. So alıyor, sun. You are taking. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you liked it. So please like the video. If you want more, comment down below what you want to learn or ask any question you want. Oh, and let's water our grass head. I really, guys, it's been a week since I recorded the last video, so it grew so much, but I'll try to record regularly so you can really see it growing.